Welcome, everybody, to the Michigan Trails Report. I'm your host, Tom Funk. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be continuing our hike across Michigan's Upper Peninsula as I share with you hike number 42 out of the 50 hikes on Michigan and Wisconsin's North Country Trail, which takes us through the Escanaba River State Forest between the outskirts of Marquette and Laughing Whitefish Falls State Park. This is a hike that not many people do, so you're kind of, I don't want to say you're in no man's land, it's just, I don't know, a lot of people don't do this hike. A lot of people stick west of Marquette or east of Munising, so you may have this trail all to yourself. When I hiked it, I did it once with a group of people, and I've done some solo hikes in the area and with some friends, so didn't see anybody else except for the people we were with, so should not be a crowded hike. But anyways, 24.7 miles, and you're going to start in Harvey at the Michigan Department of Transportation Visitor Center, and you're going to end at the Rumley Road Trailhead, which is just on the outskirts of re-entering the Hiawatha. So your urban hike through Marquette, albeit a trail town with pathways conducted to the hiker, is now over. And now you're moving east towards the Hiawatha National Forest. And you'll use paved and improved multi-use trails, little-used county roads, and bona fide trail from the Lake Superior Shore inland to Laughing Whitefish River. From the Visitor Center, the trail continues to use a multi-use crushed limestone bike trail until the Cobogam Pocket Park trailhead, where it moves off the old railroad bed and becomes a hiking trail again. You'll start in unincorporated Harvey, which is a residential area on the outskirts of Marquette. Cross the Chocolate River, a trout stream, and head east, passing the Northern Michigan University Golf Course, until the Cobogam Pocket Park trailhead. At this point, you leave the old railroad bed and begin hiking through lands both privately held and owned by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. You'll notice that you've left the mountains behind and the habitats have become quite sandy, and this is because you're in close proximity to the Lake Superior. You'll come to Lake Levasseur and then utilize parts of an unimproved multi-use trail system as well as the old railroad right-of-way. You'll pass a hiker's shelter at the Lake and Land Sculpture Park, and you'll continue on an old abandoned county road and then cross the Sand River. Now at this point, the trail leaves the proximity of Lake Superior and heads south into the woods. You'll pass through the parking area at Jesky Flooding, and after crossing Magnum Road, you'll climb up a steep hill, follow its north side with overlooks. You'll descend, cross the Peter White Road, and then cross a bridgeless stream. Continue south, and at the intersection with the Spur Trail to Laughing Whitefish Falls, you'll turn east, and you'll descend a steep valley, which means a rather steep ascent after crossing the Laughing Whitefish River. At this point, you are in the Laughing Whitefish Falls State Park, a Michigan state park. No camping is allowed, although it is very tempting to do so. Laughing Whitefish Falls is a good side trip and has a trailhead. The falls flow over a limestone outcropping, fanning and spreading over the geological formation, which makes it look like a long and wide train off a bride's dress. Hike until you reach Rumley Road, where there is a roadside parking. And in this segment, you'll start seeing a common tree species that has been noticeably absent west of here, and that would be the American beech. From this point east, and in the entire lower peninsula, the beech tree will be a common woodland companion, although with the recent beech bark disease, many are dying or being cut down to deter the disease's spread. The western end is the Visitor Center in Harvey, which is just south of Marquette on Michigan 28, US 41. And again, overnight parking is not allowed. The eastern end is at Rumley Road, which is accessed from Michigan 94 west of Chatham and east of Marquette. Take Rumley Road north 3 miles until the road takes a bend to the east. Other access points include a spur trail from Laughing Whitefish Falls State Park, which is also accessed off of Michigan 94 between Marquette and Chatham by taking the Sundell Road north and following the signs of the park. There is a parking area 7.5 miles east of the Michigan Department of Transportation's Visitor Center on Cobogam Road, and another 5 miles farther east on the Jeski Flooding and Sand River Road, and both are accessed off of M28. Harvey is accessed by a bike trail following Michigan 2841. It has restaurants and groceries and financial services, but to the east of there is no services. From the Visitor Center, the trail behind the building goes behind the building and continues as a multi-use trail and immediately crosses Chocolate River and traverses through residential areas while paralleling Michigan 28 in the near distance, crossing the state highway at the 2.5-mile mark. The North Country Trail continues on the paved path, crossing Michigan 28 using an old railroad trestle bridge. The trail is flat within earshot of Lake Superior and in sandy habitats supporting mostly pine. The bike path ends at the 6.2-mile mark at Cobogam Road, and you're going to turn left or north, and in less than 1/10 of a mile, you'll turn right into Cobogam Pocket Park. From here, a natural tread goes into the Young Woods, parallels the multi-use trail, then crosses it and heads south to the edge of a residential development, but you'll be hiking in the state forest. Cross the access road to Lake Levasseur at the 7.5-mile mark. Then again, at 3/10 of a mile, you'll parallel the north side of Lake Levasseur, where the habitat is jack pine and bracken fern. Your hike in the woods merges with an old road at the 9.1-mile mark. Now, local maps have this old road listed as County Road BAA, but it is essentially abandoned by the county and not used as a county road. The trail both utilizes and parallels an old railroad grade, which is now an ATV trail, and due to beaver activity in the area, the trail chapter reroutes the trail, utilizing the old railroad grade as conditions warrant. So you'll hike through mostly young jack pine, red pine habitats along a swamp that could be wet at times. Lake and Land Sculpture Park has a hiker shelter at the 11-mile mark and is the only trail shelter for hundreds of miles in either direction. It's rather deluxe with sliding patio doors and a very nice open-air latrine. Take a break here and follow the drive north to the Sculpture Park, and you will not regret it. Tom Lakin is an artist, and he has crafted about 80 unique sculptures from junk. If he is there, stop and chat with him. He built the hiker's shelter as a gesture of his support for the North Country Trail. And be sure to drop a donation in one of his donation pipes, because he does provide the park free of charge, and he does this on his own dime. So then head back to the shelter, and you'll continue hiking east on the abandoned County Road BAA. And you'll come out next to a private residence, hike past it, and easterly up the road over the Sand River, and 1/10 of a mile turn right or south onto the North Country Trail. Railroad Lane at the 12.6-mile mark is accessed via a parking lot by turning south onto Sand River Road from Michigan 28 and then right or west onto Railroad Lane. The trail continues to the south into the woods, comes out to a clearing at the Jeski Flooding old boat launch site, and travels along some swampy areas and comes out at Sand River Road. Hike Sand River Road 7/10 of a mile until the trail goes back into the woods on the west side of the road. Note that hikers frequently miss the two entry-exit points off Sand River Road where the trail comes out for the 7/10-mile road walk. So to resolve that issue, the North Country Trail chapter has installed tall white pipes with red tape and blue blazes. And the trail merges with Signan-Segan Road, two different spellings, of course, at the 17-mile mark. Continue south on Signan-Segan Road, and that's S-I-G-A-N or S-E-G-A-N, for 7/10 of a mile, and it will come to an intersection with Toivos Trail, which comes in from the north. Turn south on Sigan Road for 1/10 of a mile, where it will turn into the woods on the east side of the road. Now you're going to cross Magnum Road at the 14.5-mile mark, where there is roadside parking. The trail goes south into the woods over rocky terrain while following an intermittent stream for the beginning of the hike. Come to an old road, turn left, follow it for 2.3 miles, and you'll come to an old, unused road. Follow it for a short distance before turning back into the woods on the right, and you'll come to another old road for another 7/10 of a mile to Segan Road. The trail leaves Segan Road at the 20.8 mile mark and traverses up a rather steep slope with a stream valley on your north side. Near the summit, you'll find a small waterfall during wet years, and you'll follow the north side contour of the hill, and then head down to Peter White Road, and you'll be at the 20.9 mile mark. There is a small roadside parking area on the west side of Peter White Road, and you're going to descend into the Laughing Whitefish River Valley second growth hardwood forest. There is a bridgeless water crossing of the west branch of the Laughing Whitefish River in 4/10 of a mile and is negotiated by rock hopping. Continue on about 1 mile to find a sign pointing you south on a spur trail for 1.9 miles to Laughing Whitefish Falls, including access to parking. You'll descend downhill via steps and switchbacks to the Laughing Whitefish River. A small footbridge crosses the wide but shallow Laughing Whitefish River at the 22.5 mile mark in an area with no camping. Remember, you're in a state park, so no camping. Climb up out of the valley and onto flat highlands to the southeast. Now you're going to listen for a waterfall just to your northeast, about 1.9 miles from where you cross the Laughing Whitefish River. And within a few hundred feet, the trail comes to an old road that heads southeast for 3/10 of a mile to Rumley Road, where there is a parking area. This area is now seeing quite a bit of trail development because the trail continues on unimproved roads after this point for a while until you get to Rock River Canyon Wilderness. So if you're following on Facebook, like the North Country Trail Association and some of the chapters up there, that, there's going to be some activity getting you off the roads and onto trails. So that's pretty cool. All right, there you go. That was hike number 42. We're going to move on next as we go through the Hiawatha National Forest. We're going to see wilderness area. We're going to have a nice big lake, a nice river crossing, and we're going to end on the doorstep of Pictured Rocks. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you again here on the Michigan Trails Report. I'm your host, Tom Funk. See you again.